Hey, welcome back to the stash. Daredevil is no stranger to pain. Matt Murdock has been beaten, broken, and buried more times than anyone should survive. But what sets him apart, what makes him Daredevil, is that no matter how much the world takes from him, he always gets back up. Still, there comes a moment in every war where the fighting has to stop. A moment where enough is enough. A moment where even the devil has to ask, how many more times? With the Kingpin's return, the streets are once again soaked in blood, but this time, Matt isn't playing games. This isn't about justice, this is about ending it, once and for all. So continuing our March Without Fear initiative on the channel, I wanted to take a look at one of the most intense confrontations in Daredevil's entire history. A moment that changed everything between him and the Kingpin forever. This is the final chapter of Hardcore. Before we begin though, I want to take a quick second to say that here at The Stash, we're trying to reach 10,000 subscribers. So if you love Daredevil, comics, or deep dives like this, consider sticking around and hitting that subscribe button. Any support here truly does mean the world to me, and with your help I know we can do it. But with all that being said, let's get right back into the video. The Kingpin is back, and now he's ready to show everyone he means business. All across America, from Atlantic City to Chinatown, Jersey to Brooklyn, mobsters are turning up dead. One by one, old players are being wiped off the board completely, with no warnings, no mercy, only the release of death. All the while one man smiles as he stares at the remaining leaders of the underworld, that man being Wilson Fisk. He declares that effective immediately, he's retaking control of his territories. He makes it clear, he's back. And the terms remain as before his absence. But now, he's upping the punishment for disobedience. He's seen how these men handled themselves while he was gone, how quickly it all crumbled. He even described their behavior as disgusting. And Wilson Fisk knows there's only one way to bring back the respect: with fear. One of the men speak up, all in an attempt to shift the blame onto the Owl's behalf, yet Wilson isn't having any of it. His hand lowers to his pocket, and out comes a small vial, one containing MGH, a substance that, under the eye of the Owl, was making waves in their line of work. Wilson completely tears it down, calling it nothing more than a cheap genetic piece of crap. Then, he sets a strict rule. Under no circumstance is anyone allowed to sell it. It's off limits, and he warns them that anyone caught dealing with this stuff will disappear. The vial goes back into his pocket. His posture shifts more upright as he informs the gangsters that details on the rest of his new arrangements will be made shortly. But for now, he wants everyone out of his sight. One mobster steps forward and dares to speak against the Kingpin. Each word said is like a nail into his own coffin. But as he digs his grave deeper and deeper, a certain guardian devil is making his presence known outside. The mobster calls out Wilson, calls him out for his arrogance and mocking his attempt to make them cower just because he had 6 people murdered. He calls them garbage, easy targets, and so he warns Wilson to leave the country before it's too late. Because by tonight, or Sunday, he swears that Wilson Fisk won't be breathing anymore. But Wilson stands there, completely calm and unmoved, as if the threat didn't even register. He reaches for his phone. Each button press cuts through the air like a blade. Then, with a cold voice, he says, "Chinatown, do it." Do what? The mobster blurts out with panic creeping in. Fisk simply says he ordered his men to violate and murder his wife. And then he asks the room if anyone else has a grandstand within themselves. But one man does. One man who dares to challenge the Kingpin. A car smashes through the warehouse, sending everything and everyone into a frenzy as chaos erupts. Wilson slowly rises, searching for the person behind it all, until he sees him. His greatest enemy, Daredevil, back once more. He says to Matt that he thought the combination of the police, Typhoid Mary, and Bullseye in such a short time might have done the trick, or at least keep him off his game. But Matt doesn't waver, and instead, he mocks Wilson. He tells him how he thought his crew stabbing him into a coma, his son betraying him, and his wife selling him out would have done the trick too. But Matt guesses they never really did get the hang of each other. Wilson's face tenses, yet Daredevil stays the same. Until Fisk's whole demeanor changes, his body shifts upright, his anger turned into this almost bravado look, like the calm before the storm. Wilson admits it, he missed Matt. There were moments he almost picked up the phone to ring him. After all, Matt's identity being exposed made it all the way to Sweden. Fisk says he nearly called him, just to read out the headline to him. It was even, in fact, one of the first things he saw with his own eyes after his reconstructive surgery. But deep down he knew Murdock would somehow dodge it, and that's why Wilson never outed him himself when he had the chance. Because he understood something most people didn't, that the threat was always stronger than the reality. He knew Matt would somehow deny it, fight it off with sheer force of will, and now that it's out there, now that Murdock is a public figure, Fisk can't help but wonder, how does this change things between them? How does this change the dynamic of their relationship? But Matt, through it all, doesn't flinch. Instead, he tells Wilson, it doesn't change a thing. This is it, right here, right now. The end of the road for the both of them. Fisk's calm demeanor fades. He snaps back into that primitive rage, declaring that Matt should know better by now. It ends when he says it ends. But Matt's had enough. Enough of the games, enough of the war, enough of Wilson Fisk. And so now he's just going to beat the living hell out of him. They both let out a primal scream and lunge into battle. The fight between Daredevil and the Kingpin begins. The two go back and forth, desperately trying to gain the upper hand. But then, Fisk lands a powerful blow, sending Matt against a nearby car windshield with a thunderous crash. Glass rains down around Daredevil as he collapses to the floor. Blood drips around his mouth, he's barely able to move, but the Kingpin is relentless. Get up, Murdock, he says, demanding for more. He'll never stop, Matt thinks. He'll never quit. For Fisk isn't a man, he's something worse. A hurricane, a monsoon, a force of nature that just keeps coming and coming. But through it all, Matt doesn't break. He doesn't stop. He never stops. He keeps fighting till the very end. Matt realizes that no matter how many times he battles this war, Fisk never changes. He keeps murdering, hurting, taking, over and over again. Yet all the thought does is fuel his anger even more. Daredevil's fists relentlessly fly, for he's not just throwing punches, but rather everything he's got left. Every hit is a stand against the impossible, a refusal to back down. Fisk is a mountain, a monster, but Matt keeps swinging. Like his father before him, he's fighting a battle that no man should win. He's fighting a battle with the odds stacked against him. But he's a Murdock, and the thing about Murdocks, they get hit a lot, but they get right back up. The battle rages on, and Matt asks himself, how many times does he have to do this? How many more times must he fight the same fight just to survive? But then, in a split second, Wilson manages to get his hand on Matt's neck. And with that, he begins to strangle him. His face is a mess of sweat, bruises, blood, and rage. His skin mottled and raw, his eyes bulging with sheer hatred for his foe. Every vein, every wrinkle, every drop of blood dripping from his busted lip. It's all there, in the horrifying shot of what Wilson has become, of the animal Wilson has become. But what stands out the most is that smile. It's not one of amusement, it's something worse. It's a grotesque, twisted grin. The face of a man who's lost and still refuses to let go. He almost strangles Matt to death, but somehow with pure rage and determination, he hits his way out of it. Kingpin slams Daredevil against the cold hard floor, but Matt kicks Wilson off. They scramble to their feet, breathing heavy, bloodied and broken. But Matt doesn't stop. Not now, not after everything. He roars and hurls himself forward with his fist clenched, teeth gritted, and fury in his eyes, as he pounds Kingpin's face right into the ground. The sound is sickening and relentless. Blood flies, Fisk mumbles, Daredevil keeps going. Then, with one last burst of energy, one last desperate attempt to win, Wilson shoves Matt off as he calls him out, but Daredevil answers back with a brutal kick to the face. And finally, he toppled the Kingpin. He stands there over his greatest enemy, asking one simple, exhausted question. How many times? Listen and listen good. These are the new rules of Hell's Kitchen. This is the Kingpin, your Kingpin. This is Wilson Fisk, and I beat him with my bare hands. And this man is going to rot in jail for the rest of his life for the hell he has made of this city. And if I could do this to him, imagine what I will do to you. Any of you. If, from this second forward, you sell your drugs, rob, or whore anywhere near my city, if you can't control yourselves, if you can't figure a way to be productive in this life, find somewhere else, far from here, far from here. I am here to say, if you people so badly need some sort of kingpin, someone to lord over you, well, from now on, it's me. I am not protecting this city anymore. I am running it. And I say, the people of Hell's Kitchen are my people. This is my territory now. And I say, get out or change, tonight. You think you know me? You think you know who I am? These are the new rules. This is how it will be from now on. Spread the word. And if you think I'm kidding, look at the carcass in front of you. Look at him!